Have you ever been stunned into silence by a rude comment, only to think of the perfect comeback hours later when it didn't matter anymore? Imagine this scenario. You're in a meeting, or perhaps a family gathering. The air is calm. Suddenly, someone throws a sharp, disrespectful remark your way. The room goes quiet. All eyes shift to you. They're waiting for you to explode, to get angry, or to stutter in embarrassment. In that split second, you have a choice. You can react like a wounded animal, giving them exactly what they want, or you can destroy their ego without raising your voice even a single decibel. Welcome back to INVICTUS X. Today, we're not just talking about philosophy, we're handing you the weapons of the mind. We're going to explore 6 intelligent, Stoic-inspired phrases that act as a mirror, reflecting the shame of a rude person right back onto them. By the end of this video, you will never fear disrespect again. You will welcome it because you will know exactly how to handle it. Before we hand you these phrases, we must understand the battlefield. Why do people choose to be rude? Epictetus, the great Stoic slave turned teacher, once said, "When another blames you or hates you, or people voice similar criticisms, go to their souls, penetrate inside, and see what kind of people they are." Rudeness is rarely about you. It is a symptom of their own internal chaos. It is a projection of their insecurity, their jealousy, or their lack of self-control. When someone insults you, they're essentially handing you a gift of poison. If you accept it, you get sick. If you refuse it, the poison remains in their hands. Most people try to fight rudeness with more rudeness. This is a mistake. It drags you down to their level. The Stoic approach is different. It's about emotional unbreakability. It's about holding up a mirror so clear and so polished that when the rude person looks at you, they see only their own ugliness staring back. Here are the 6 phrases that accomplish this. Phrase number 1, the spotlight effect. The first phrase is designed to stop a passive-aggressive attacker in their tracks. Often, rude people hide behind jokes or subtle digs. They rely on the social contract that says you will be too polite to call them out. Break that contract. When they make their comment, look them in the eye, pause for 2 seconds, and ask calmly, "Are you trying to be rude?" Or a variation, "Did you mean to say that out loud?" Why does this work? It shifts the spotlight from your reaction to their intention. You're not getting angry, you're simply asking for clarification. You're forcing them to admit one of 2 things. Either they're being rude, which violates social norms and makes them look like the villain, or they have to backtrack and apologize, claiming it was just a joke. By asking this question, you strip away their cover. You force them to process what they just did. Usually they'll stutter. They'll look around the room. The shame begins to set in because you exposed the subtext of their behavior. You remained the adult in the room. Phrase number 2, the empathy trap. Marcus Aurelius reminded himself daily that the people he met would be meddling, ungrateful, and arrogant. But he also reminded himself that they act this way out of ignorance of what is good and evil. When someone is aggressively rude, they are often in a state of suffering. They want you to suffer too. Don't give them that satisfaction. Instead, look at them with genuine pity and say, "You seem to be having a really hard day." This is the ultimate power move. Why? Because it reframes the dynamic instantly. You are no longer the victim of their anger. You are the observer of their emotional breakdown. You are standing above them, looking down not with arrogance, but with concern. This phrase destroys their momentum. They cannot continue attacking you because you haven't fought back. You've offered them help. It signals to everyone else in the room that they are the unstable one and you are the rock. It makes their anger look like a toddler's tantrum. Phrase number 3, the unbroken silence.
Sometimes the most powerful phrase is the one that barely exists. The Stoics valued silence above idle chatter. When someone insults you, they are demanding your attention. They are demanding a reaction. If the insult is petty or ridiculous, do not dignify it with a defense. Look at them, hold eye contact for a moment longer than is comfortable, and say, "I see." And then go back to what you were doing. I see. 2 words, neutral, flat, boring. By saying, "I see," you acknowledge they made a sound, but you refuse to attach any value to it. You are telling them, "I heard you, and I have determined that your opinion is worth absolutely nothing to me." Seneca said, "To be able to hold your peace is a great strength." The absence of a reaction is the loudest message you can send. It creates a vacuum of awkwardness that the rude person has to sit in alone. They will feel ignored, and then they will feel foolish for trying so hard to get a rise out of someone who is unreachable.
Phrase 4. The disappointment for the close ones. What if the rude person is a friend, a colleague, or a family member, someone who should know better? In this case, you don't need to be cold, you need to be firm. You need to set a boundary. Look at them calmly and say, "I'm surprised you felt comfortable saying that to me." This phrase is devastatingly effective because it appeals to their better nature. It doesn't attack them, it attacks their behavior. It implies that you held them to a higher standard, and they have just failed to meet it. It triggers a sense of shame, not because you are angry, but because you are disappointed. Anger invites a fight. Disappointment invites reflection. Most people do not want to be seen as the type of person who hurts others carelessly. This phrase forces them to examine their own character. It draws a line in the sand that says, "I respect myself, and I thought you respected me too." Phrase 5. The logical dismantling. Sometimes rudeness comes disguised as constructive criticism or just being honest. When someone tries to dress up an insult as advice, do not get defensive. Instead, ask them to explain it. Say to them, "Could you repeat that? I'm not sure I understand how that is helpful." By asking them to repeat the insult, you force them to say it a second time. Usually, an insult loses its power when it has to be repeated. It sounds petty. It sounds silly. And by adding, "I'm not sure how that is helpful," you are challenging the utility of their words. Stoicism is a philosophy of logic. If their words serve no purpose other than to hurt, this question exposes that fact. They will likely struggle to explain themselves, or they will mutter, "Never mind." You have effectively disarmed them by asking for the one thing they cannot provide, a logical reason for their rudeness. Phrase 6. The final shield. Finally, there will be times when someone is committed to misunderstanding you. They are committed to their anger. In these moments, you must remember that you cannot control others, you can only control your own mind. When the conversation is going in circles and the disrespect continues, use this final phrase to end the engagement. Thank you for sharing your perspective. This is the period at the end of the sentence. It is not an agreement, it is a dismissal. You are treating their verbal abuse like a business proposal that you are politely declining. It signals that the conversation is over, not because you ran away, but because there is nothing left to be said. You remain the master of your own time and your own energy. Remember, an insult is like a rock thrown at a fortress. If the fortress is weak, the rock shatters the wall. If the fortress is made of stone, if your mind is fortified with Stoic wisdom, the rock simply bounces off and falls to the ground. The next time someone tests you, do not react with anger. Do not let them control your pulse. Pick one of these phrases. Watch them stutter. Watch them realize that you are not a target they can easily break. You are the master of your destiny. You are Invictus. If you are ready to build a mind that cannot be conquered, make sure to like this video and subscribe to the channel. Join us and let us walk this path of strength together.
Until next time, stay strong.